Hello everybody, please allow me to do a quick coverage of IREN, formerly called Iris Energy, a Bitcoin miner that does not hodl. They don't hold Bitcoin, which is what I don't like about them. But they've reported an amazing number of cost to mine, 29K. So let me go ahead and go over the report that we received yesterday. So the Bitcoin mining, we're reaching 31 exahash next month. We're going to have 50 exahash probably somewhere in the first half, late first half, second half of 2025. Mid 2025 is when I think they'll reach the 50 exahash. They have an AI HPC division, another thing that they wish they didn't have, but they believe in that. They're working on liquid cooling for Blackwell. This is where you may remember a short seller had attacked them for their data center, and they have a corporate and funding strategy. Well, I guess they will have such strategy as soon as they become a U.S. domestic stock and they adopt U.S. GAAP reporting and GAAP accounting, and that should probably help them raise more money and perhaps do, well, probably not, but I would hope they would want to do a sailor type thing where they issue debt to acquire Bitcoin. But given that they don't even hodl it, in my view, they're just going to issue more stock in order to pay for the electricity, which funds the Bitcoin mining and the expansion. This is kind of my view on this one. Moving on through the strategies. So like I said, we have three main strategies discussed. Moving on to the exahash. This is the important point here. It costs them $29,000 all in cash cost per Bitcoin. And so there's assumptions. I haven't dug into them in how they calculate that. I love that they actually went ahead and calculated the cost for every single competitor out of them. They want to highlight themselves as the good players here, of course, but all of the miners are in profit right now, essentially, and that was my assumption and my own calculation is whether you're looking at Riot, Bitfarms, Mara, they're all profiting right now with Bitcoin at 90,000, and what if Bitcoin gets to 125, 150? They're going to profit even more. IREN claims to be the most profitable. Good for them. Good for them. That's all I have to say. I wish they hodled the Bitcoin. They don't hodl the Bitcoin. Wait until the end, though. I own the stock. There's a reason why I own the stock, and I'll get to it in the end. Let's talk about the AI service. So again, they run these Nvidia H100s and two H200s. They're getting ready for Blackwell, and they are renting that training capacity. The whole thesis behind that is that really you don't need a good internet connection. You don't need the best upside in the world. If you are going to do AI training for AI inference, these data centers would not be the data centers that IREN has, right? IREN is never going to do inference, but they are trying to do training, and it is their strategy. And to me, I hate to be kind of a Debbie Downer, but to me it's a distraction. It's a distraction. I wish they would stop it. And you'll see even in their assumptions for 2025, they name it additional revenue. I would understand if they did this to try to get some sort of a premium from the market, but they don't seem to be getting a premium from the market for being this AI / compute cluster and reselling of it. It confuses the market. And when I recalculate everything and I assume about $20,000 for the value of the used H100s and the new H200s, you'll forgive me for the blended cost. Yeah, you're looking at $38 million worth of Nvidia GPUs, but these things depreciate so fast. It's not even funny. It depreciates faster than Bitcoin miners. So again, for now, it's a distraction, but that's perhaps something we have to thank for, because that's why we get a discount in the stock. I find this stock undervalued, highly undervalued, dare I say. This stock, they are long-term thinkers. They have bought land with access to power early before the AI boom. And when you see the scale of this power, right, 2.3 gigawatts, you're getting nuclear plant type scale of power. One of them is essentially what we're going to have in access, which is one of the big theses of investing in this stock, is that it will be very valuable once they fully develop it. And of course, 1.4 megawatt is going to be their Sweetwater data center update, which is in Texas near Abilene, so near the center of Texas from what I understand. And they are going to have optic fiber there, and they have a lot of hope in this data center in what is essentially the middle of nowhere, but that's where you get the cheap cost. That's where you get the cheap energy. Remember, all of these miners, they pay like less than 5 cents a kilowatt hour. IREN is no stranger to that, especially when you pay $29,000, when it costs you $25,000 to mine a Bitcoin. I will conclude briefly, because this is a very brief video. I'm running out of time. I don't have time to analyze all the things I want to analyze. Briefly, they've given their adjusted EBITDA estimations, illustrations, whatever you want to call it, for a year. I mean, to the best of my calculation, this is the yearly numbers. So let's assume the blended average price in a year, maybe 6 months, maybe 12 months into the future, when we reach that hypothetical year. Let's assume the price of Bitcoin is 150,000, and let's assume they are fully operated, and it's fully operated, and you have the Bitcoin mining setup all is well, right? 50 exahash of Bitcoin miners running smoothly. Let's assume that. And let's assume, so you have the 50 exahash running smoothly over a 1 year period, and Bitcoin is 150K. Well, in that case, you go to their scenario here, 50 exahash, 150,000, and their adjusted EBITDA would be 943 million. And you can see the AI cloud services contribution is 32 million. Again, why is that there? That's 3%. That's a distraction in my view. That's okay. That's just me. It could grow, right? It could definitely grow, but that's only 3%. Anyways, the point is 943 million EBITDA, adjusted EBITDA, is what they claim this could be with this illustration. The enterprise value as of today, after the pop, by the way, is 1.56 billion. 1.56 billion. Adjusted EBITDA, 943 million. The enterprise value over adjusted EBITDA is 1.65. This is a joke. Need I say more? Even the cheapest of the cheapest businesses that I ever cover, they get to 8 times adjusted EBITDA, EV over adjusted EBITDA. At the 1.6, the market is, well, first of all, these stocks are heavily shorted. That's one. But then the market is not entirely seeing, is not seeing the bigger picture. There's a bigger picture the market is not seeing. The market is really not buying into the vision, and that's why I own it. Because as much as I hate that they don't hodl, I don't like that. I wish they kept the Bitcoin on balance sheet. As much as I don't like that they are getting into the AI mining business, and I find that to be a distraction, the stock is just too cheap to ignore. The mining operations are just too cheap to ignore, in my view, and the cost to mine is just too cheap to ignore. People get annoyed when they look at the dilution of these stocks, but remember, the dilution oftentimes helps to fund the stocks. It helps to fund the mining, etc., etc., etc. I will refer to you to a video that I did 1 month ago, and this is a slide from that video. So my video was deep dive on IREN stock, undervalued because of AI pivot, and I still think that. I still think they're undervalued because of their AI pivot, and I still think they're trading below asset value. And I recommend that video if you haven't watched it. I'm going to assume the numbers have not changed much right now, but I go over a calculation and I end up with an adjusted enterprise value of minus $747 million. Given the stock price movements, this hasn't changed much. In my view, this stock is still trading at minus $700 million of adjusted enterprise value. The way I look at it, it's when you stop thinking like an accountant and you start adding up the resellable value of the stuff and the value of the land and the value of the power access, And the value of the rigs, when you start adding it all up, you get to a negative enterprise value. That's the way I view it. So it's a value play, it's a Bitcoin play, it's an AI play, but they get no credit for that. The stock is heavily misunderstood. And so we will see how this goes on. It can't stay like that forever. At some point, something has to give. At some point, and it's a coiled spring that may explode to the upside at some point. Again, it also may never explode to the upside. So no financial advice ever. I am sorry for the lack of focus in this video. I am very tired. But it's okay. Anyways, this was not financial advice, not investment advice. This is just entertainment, hoping you were entertained. Please like, please subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.